Hello and welcome to my first ever vlog. I'm Megan. I'm a mom and a full-time photographer, but this channel is going to be more about the things that I like to do in my personal and free time, the things that really bring me joy and that make life really fun. I love like thrifting and reading and crafting of all kinds. And so I really just want to make vlogs that give appreciation to the things that I love to do, and as a way to just kind of maybe connect with other people that enjoy the same things. I love encouraging other people, women, mothers, to create space in their lives to do things that really lift them up and bring them joy and happiness. I was someone in my 20s who did not give enough time and energy into hobbies and really kind of discovering the things that I personally loved. And so now, being in my 30s, being a mom, being a business owner, I feel like I have less time than ever for doing stuff for myself. However, I somehow am doing it more than I ever did, if that makes any sense. I really just want to have fun with making little videos that kind of share the things I'm up to and share the things that I love doing. And yeah, so this week I'm just going to kind of take you along on some of the little adventures that I take in my free time and in the mornings when I'm home with my son. I work from home and don't have childcare, so I spend most of my morning just kind of bebopping around with my son and getting outside, especially because it's nice outside right now. And so I might take you on some of those adventures. But for the most part, you're just gonna see me doing things that I like to do. So tonight I'm actually going to a craft club, craft circle night, something I've been trying to start in my town that is a relatively small town. I would say like small to medium sized town. It's not the tiniest town ever. However, it's smaller than most like medium sized cities in America. So I've been trying to get kind of a craft club, craft circle group together because it's something I've kind of seen on social media from like other larger cities and have thought, you know, the city doesn't need to be large for things like this to exist. So I'm trying to make it happen. We've had two meetups so far. Tonight's our third. And so I wanted to show you the project I'm taking with me. It's something that I've been working on for a little over like 6 weeks, I'd say. And it's like a crochet, like mesh sweater. I've been crocheting for, let's see, I guess like 18 months now. And I have yet to complete a full wearable garment of any sort. I have only made like a couple like blankets and some just like small projects like scarves and stuff like that. So this is like gonna be my first like truly wearable piece, and I'm very excited about that. So tonight I literally just have to finish one of the sleeves and then weave in my ends. So pretty mindless. So that's what I'm gonna work on tonight at this craft club, and I should be finishing it. So because I'm excited to kind of move on to another project. It's just been mesh stitch over and over and over again. So I'll be working on that tonight. I'll be chatting with some friends, some other people that are like local to my area that love crafting. If you don't have a craft circle or craft like club in your town, I highly encourage you to just start one. Just like invite 2 people and get it going, and then start inviting more people from there and see what happens. Mine is still very much in the early stages of getting going, but I can already see how something like this has the potential to just be so cool and such a fun and lighthearted way to connect with other people, you know, over just like shared interests and just caving out kind of dedicated time for people to get together and craft, do something that they really enjoy doing. So I have that tonight. And then we'll check in tomorrow and see what we're up to for the weekend. Hello, I am back here on a beautiful Friday, and last night I had my craft meetup and it was so fun. There was just like a nice little group of us and we just got to spend a couple hours outside crafting. I brought my crochet project, some people were knitting, one girl was doing like watercolor, and it was just really fun to kind of set aside that time and just get to connect with girlies that love crafting and also like just chatting about like other things we enjoy, books and movies and stuff like that, and it was just so fun. Having like a crafting community was something that I have been envious about when I see like people in other bigger cities kind of have these, like go to these like crafting events and crafting circles, and something that I realized like just because it didn't already exist in the town that I live in doesn't mean that it couldn't exist and somebody couldn't make it exist. So I think sometimes when you live in like smaller towns, it can feel like there's not as many like fun opportunities to connect with other people over like interesting things and activities. But I think like it can exist anywhere if you just like make it happen. So if you also live in like a smaller town and have been wanting to kind of create some form of community around like crafting or art or music or anything like that, I highly recommend you just like find a couple people to maybe do like a first one with and just like kind of follow the momentum and see what happens. So last night at this crafting event, I finished my little crochet meshy sweater, which I'm so excited about. This is like my first like completed crochet wearable. I have like always wanted to just kind of self-draft like a simple little like crochet project like this, so I'm so happy with the way it turned out. I'm like not sure if I'm gonna block it or not. I know that like I should, but I see like mixed things with cotton yarn. Some people say it doesn't make that much of a difference. Some people say that it does. So I don't know. I probably will block it just to see if it like helps like settle out any like imperfections. But I don't know if I'll block it before I wear it for the first time because I'm impatient and probably want to wear it this weekend. Yeah, I'm like just, it's so cute. I can't wait to like style it. I feel like it's just gonna be like really cute over like a little like bandeau or bralette with like a skirt. I'll probably style like all of my like handmade stuff in a future video if that's something that people are interested in seeing, because I'm starting to finally build a little bit of a collection of handmade clothing, and it's just so fun. For the first time in my life, feel like I'm really curating like a really exciting collection of like handmade and thrifted clothes. And yeah, it's just been something that I've been having fun with this year. So excited by that. And then the other thing I wanted to chat about was books, because I am a pretty, I would say like decently avid reader. I'm not like a one book a week kind of girl. I don't like to read two books at the same time. But I do probably finish a book every like 3 to 4 weeks. So I'd say that's like a decent paced reader. So most recently I finished The Wedding People by Alison Esbach, I think. I don't know. I'm going to put it right here so you can see the picture, because I already returned it to the library. So I'm an avid library user. I absolutely love using our public library to rent books. But new books are only like a 2-week loan, so I'm like always trying to like burn through them and return them as soon as I can, and that one was already late, so I don't have it here to show you. But yeah, picture here, and I'll link it in the comments too, so you can see it or find it yourself. But I truly was so pleasantly surprised by that book. I honestly did judge a book by its cover and thought it was a rom-com. And was thinking that was kind of the vibe I wanted. And then turns out it was actually, it definitely had like dark aspects to it, and it was very much a book about just kind of like the messiness of life and love and human connection and existence. And that's really my cup of tea when it comes to books. I love like contemporary fiction that's a little bit more like slice of life. And I always explain it as like books that could be an indie movie. Like they always just feel like there's not like a fast moving plot that often. It's usually just pretty realistic and like life based. So yeah, well, that being said, I do like the occasional sci-fi book as well, but for the most part I read a lot of just like contemporary fiction that's like very just human experience based. So, and to that note, the next book I'm reading is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've seen a lot of people highly recommend this book. I love her books. Daisy Jones and the Six is like one of my favorite books of all time. And I also really loved like Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Malibu Rising. I read the others. Those are the only other 3 that I've read. But she's just so good at like character building and narrative storytelling. And I just always find myself so sucked into her style of writing. Even if like by reading like the back of the book, it doesn't seem like it would maybe be that enticing. Like I had a lot of hesitation about starting Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because it just didn't really seem, I wasn't sure that I was going to be interested. And then once I started reading, I just could not stop. Like I was so in. And this one is kind of the same way. I wasn't sure I was gonna like how I would feel about a book about astronauts, but colored me very intrigued after only reading like 2 chapters so far. I can already tell it's gonna be a good one. So very excited to read this one. And I do have to read it relatively quickly because it is also only a 2-week loan from the library. So I will be reading through this over the next week and a half, so I get it back on time. And yeah, and then aside from that, I also have a book
that I rented from the library, from Joan Didion. Oh God, I cannot think of the name off the top of my head, and it is on my shelf. So again, I'll just like put a picture here. I have yet to read any Joan Didion books, but I've always wanted to. Like, she's definitely on my list of writers whose body of work I really want to work my way through. I've never read the White Album. I've never read any of her essays, but I think just based on the books that I like to read, her voice and her style of writing, I think, is going to really resonate. So I'm excited to start those. This weekend, we are headed to go visit some friends who are camping. We are not campers. Like, I need a bed, I need amenities, I need comfort and air conditioning. But I do like the activities of like being at a camp during the day. So we're gonna go hang out with our friends at their campground tomorrow, swim and just be outside in the sun and the trees. And when we get back, we'll probably have just a nice chill Sunday full of more crafting. I'm just about to settle in and work on a knitting project for a little bit. So I started knitting earlier this year, and kind of started to get into a little bit of a groove working my way through a cardigan kit that my husband had gotten me from Wool and the Gang. And I was doing really well with it, but I kind of got to a point where it was getting too warm for me to want to work on a mohair cardigan project. So I set it aside for a while, and now that it's still very hot out, but I feel like we're going to start to feel like that inch towards fall soon. And I really want that cardigan to be wearable by at least like the beginning of fall, I think. So I want to get back into like the groove of knitting. So I think I'm going to cast on and work on making a Sophie scarf, which is a pretty common like beginner project, or just like a quick project. So yeah, I have this like beautiful like kind of chartreuse wool, Friends wool from Hobby. And I'm using this for a crochet like granny square cardigan that I've been working on, but I think I'm going to have some extra. So I'm going to use one skein of it for making a Sophie scarf. I like absolutely love this color. It's one of my favorite colors. So yeah, I've got my interchangeable needles all ready to go and the yarn. And so I'm just going to sit down and cast this on and kind of start to work my way through the beginning of the pattern and just relax. So I'll keep you updated on progress that I make through that. I need to be a little bit better about like picking one project at a time and kind of seeing it through. I don't know if any other like crafty people can relate to the constant like jump between different projects and different types of crafts, but that is definitely something I can be guilty of doing. So I'm trying to be better about like seeing a project mostly all the way through, or only working on a couple things at a time. But it is kind of nice to have like more than one going at once, just so that way if you're not in the mood for knitting or crocheting, you can work on a sewing pattern, or vice versa. Like just kind of having the option between two things so that you usually I feel like doing at least one of them, so that's helpful. But yeah, so I'm gonna cozy in and make a coffee and start knitting. I'm going to show you my progress on the Sophie scarf. So this is how far I've gotten so far, which doesn't look like much, but I did restart like 8 times the other day when I was working on this. So it's actually quite a bit considering I just started this like 2 days ago. So I don't know, I'm feeling pretty proud of the progress so far. She's definitely not perfect, but I think when I block it, it's going to kind of smooth out some of the imperfections. But this is definitely my best attempt at knitting so far. I feel like this is like the most consistent my tension has looked, and it's just generally going pretty well. And I think this is like a great pattern for somebody who maybe hasn't knit before or has like a very like entry level amount of skills like I do. This is just like a really good pattern to kind of work on your tension and, just going back and forth between rows. And yeah, I don't know, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm excited to see the end product. So knowing knitting and fiber arts and how slow it takes, it's probably going to take me until fall to get this done. So that's okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about is my plans for some upcycling I want to do in the next couple weeks. It's got this white blouse, I guess, white shirt from the thrift store, and it has these like really cool like pleats on it right here, and I really want to do some cool embroidery upcycling to this. I kind of have a vision for doing maybe some like interesting like blanket stitching maybe on the button placket or the pleats or the collar, I don't know. And then I just really want to do some like Scandinavian inspired like florals. Just, I haven't decided if I'm going to go like multicolored or one color. If I do one color, I'll probably do like red or like a royalish cobalt blue, something that's like a favorite color of mine. Or I might even go like funky and do like pinks and greens or something like that. So that I'm going to start to, this is probably going to be a longer project because if you've embroidered before, you know that embroidery is incredibly time consuming. I think I'm going to start to just like draw out my plan on it with like a washable like embroidery marker and kind of start to plan out my like goals for this. So yeah, I've just wanted to like upcycle a white shirt with embroidery for a while, but all of the white shirts that I have, I like just the way they are. So I was happy to finally like thrift one that I really loved the way it fit. It wasn't just like a standard boxy white shirt. I like the like pleat details on this because it just makes it like a little bit fancier feeling. And I think with the embroidery too, it's just going to feel like a nice, like slightly elevated blouse as opposed to just like a standard white blouse. So excited for these. I will definitely vlog the process of the upcycling. Again, I'm like a very chaotic crafter. As you see from just this video alone, I like to knit. I've got goals for upcycling. I like to crochet, all the things. I just think crafting as a whole is such a fun outlet of expression and just something that keeps my hands and mind busy, that's not doom scrolling or something like that. So I'll keep you updated on the upcycling projects. This has been so much fun creating this first video and kind of taking you along on some of the chaotic array of things I enjoy. Honestly, that's probably what this vlog is going to be, is just a chaotic array of the things that make me happy. They include, like I said, crafting, thrifting, running, just the simple joys. And if any of those things are things you find interesting, I would love to hear about it. Please feel free to leave in the comments like your favorite hobbies and what you really enjoy doing. If you're a crafter too, just share like what your favorite craft is. And I can't wait to connect with more of you and just share more about the things that bring me joy. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.